Good morning, 2-3. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend and you feel rested and ready to keep moving on with this week. Okay, so we just finished up, obviously, Module 6. You took your test on Friday, and you all now have a good basis of multiplication for the next grade, which is great. And now what we're going to be doing is we're not going to be doing a full module at this point because we only have, honestly, about 4 weeks left of school. So what we're going to be doing is I am going to be picking main important skills that you need to know for third grade. And there are going to be some Eureka pages that we're going to be working on this week. Today, it's not a Eureka page. I'm starting you off with a little Google Slides, and then tomorrow we will get into the Eureka lessons for this. And then the following week will kind of be the same thing. So I'm just going to be picking main skills that we haven't done yet, but I want you to see before going into the next grade because they're important. So this week it's all going to be about telling time. Knowing how to tell time is a huge skill. And I'm not just talking about for third grade, I'm talking about in your life. You need to know how to look at a clock and tell the time. It is so important. And to be honest, a lot of people don't think it's that important anymore because of all the technology. Oh, I could just look at my phone. I could just look at the computer screen, the TV. No, you need to be able to know how to look at a clock and tell the time. So that's what we're going to be working on. So in second grade, we're supposed to know how to tell the time to the nearest 5 minutes. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing this week. We need to know how to tell the time to the nearest 5 minutes. So let's go over our instructions. The very first one is you're going to watch my video, which will be below. Then you're going to also need to watch this short video on time, which is right here. It's 4 minutes long. You need to watch it as well. It's important that you also watch this for extra support with telling time. And then you're going to complete the telling time practice in Google Slides, which I'll show you in a minute. Obviously, this is a new skill. You're going to have questions. Please message me if you do. I'll help you. I'll work it through with you, okay? So this is what it's going to be looking like. There are different activities on Google Slides. So I'm going to do one of each with you, but they're all about telling time to the nearest 5 minutes, okay? So the very first one, you will be dragging and dropping the times over here to the correct clocks that they match. Now, it's important that we understand when we're telling time, there are certain things that we need to know. So the very first thing that you want to start with is when you start to tell time, you want to look at your hour hand. Now, you probably learned in first grade that your hour hand is shorter and your minute hand is longer. Let me say that again just in case. Hour hand, short, minute hand, long. They are not the same size. That's how we tell them apart. So the hour hand is short, the minute hand is long. Now, when we want to tell the hour of the clock, so if I'm looking at this clock, I look at the hour. Here's my hour hand because it is shorter. I notice that it's between the 3 and the 4. Unfortunately, when you try to tell the time, you know that it's not always going to point directly at a number and make it easy. A lot of the times it does fall between two numbers. Whenever it falls between two numbers, you always choose the number before it, in front, right over here, the number before, okay? So if it's between 3 and 4, you're going to choose 3, okay? If it was between 5 and 6, you're going to choose 5. If it was between 8 and 9, you're going to choose 8. You always choose the number before, okay? Now, because it's between the 3 and the 4, what did we say you're going to choose? If you said 3, please kiss your brain. 3. So the hour is 3. Now, with the minutes, we are counting by fives when we go around the clock because we know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So here we're pretty much starting at 0. Then we go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. That brings us to 60, which is 1 hour, okay? But this is normally the 0 mark up here. And like I said, all you do is count by fives, and you are all experts at counting by fives, so the minutes should be pretty easy, okay? So as you can see, we have our minute hand, which is long, pointing at the 6. We're not going to write that it's 3:06 because it's not 6 minutes. This does not mean that. We need to count by fives. So we're going to start up here at our 0 and we're going to count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the time would be 3:30. You're just going to take it and drag it and drop. Okay? Now the next one, we look at between, this is our hour hand because it is shorter. This is our minute hand because it is longer. Our hour hand in this case is pointing pretty much directly at the 1. And our minute hand is pointing at the 12. That does not mean it is 1:12. Remember, this does not mean 12. We said that this was our 0. This is where we start. Okay? So this is actually telling us it is 1 o'clock. Okay? Right here, you're going to take it and drag it. And then the last one, we have our hour hand here, short, minute here, long. Our hour hand is between the 4 and the 5. Notice how it's not pointing at the 5 yet. It's getting close to 5 o'clock, but it's not 5 o'clock yet. So because it's between two numbers, we choose the number that's before it. So we're choosing 4 o'clock. Then we get to do what's fun. We start up here at the 12 by the 0, and we count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So the time is 4:45, and that's all we do. So that's what you're going to do for the first couple slides. You're just dragging and dropping the correct times. Now the second kind of slide, it tells you to label, but I already labeled everything because you're just starting out with the telling time to the 5 minutes. So all of this is already labeled for you on these slides. It already gives you the counting around, okay? You are just going to have to fill in the hour, the minutes, and then the full time. So I'm going to do one with you. So let's start with the hour. Again, the hour hand is shorter. So I'm looking here because this is the shorter, okay? It is between the 1 and the 2. I am always going to choose the number before it. So that would be the number 1. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type 1 because that is the hour, okay? Now I'm going to look for the minutes. I need to start at my 0 and count to where I see my minute hand, which is right here on the 6, okay? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Those numbers around are going to help you because they're right there. Then you're going to put 30 here. Now when we write the time, you're going to put the hour first. Okay, so you're going to put 1. And then you are going to put your symbol, which is a semicolon. It has 2 little dots on your keyboard. And then you are going to put 30. So it's showing that the time is 1:30. And that's all you're going to do on these slides, okay? If you need to even look at these when you're doing the first couple, come back and notice how this already is counting for you around, then do that. That's what it's here for, to help you, okay? So that's what you have to do on this page. Now the last ones are going to be pretty much like the first, except now you have to type in your times. They're not giving you them on the side where you're dragging and dropping. They want you to type them in, okay? So we're going to do the first one together. So again, we have our hour hand, which is shorter, and our minute hand, which is longer. So the hour hand, I notice, is pointing between the 11 and the 12. So I'm going to choose a number before, which is 11. So I know it's 11. That's the hour. Now I look at the minute hand, which is pointing at the 6. I know it's not 11:06 because 6 is not 6 minutes. I have to count by fives. I start at my 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the time is 11:30. I come over here and I'm going to do the same exact thing. Here I have my hour hand, my shorter hand. It's between the 1 and the 2. By now you guys should be getting the hang of this, so you should be choosing the 1 because you're choosing the number before. Then I have my minute hand, which is long, on the 9. So I'm going to start right here at the 12, and I'm going to go right around and count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So the time is 1:45. You have to remember this symbol in between the time. You can't put 1:45 next to each other, okay? Because let me just show you what happens. If you were just to put this, that is not 1:45 anymore as a time. That is the number 145. That would be wrong. To show the time, you have to put the symbol. So I just want to make that clear. The last one, we have our hour hand, which is short, pointing directly at the 3. And then we have our minute hand pointing, because it's long, at the 12. Remember, that's not 3:12. We know the 12, there are zeros. So we're going to put 3, and when we do o'clock, we don't just put 1 0. There has to be 2 zeros to show that it's 3 o'clock. Okay? And that is it. So that is what you're doing today. Just a lot of practice with telling time to the nearest 5 minutes. That's all we're doing is just the nearest 5 minutes. Just a lot of counting by fives. So I'm just going to remind you, please be careful. If you need to keep looking at this to help you, this is already set up with the counting by fives around the clock. Be careful with telling the difference. Again, your hour hand is short, your minute hand is long. I want to make sure you remember that. And the next thing I want you to remember is when your hour hand is pointing in between two numbers, you're always going to choose a number before it, okay? Other than that, you're ready to go. If you need any help at all, please let me know. I'm here to help you.